He said no grave can hold what spirit led.
Good everybody. Good day, everybody. Good day. And thank you so much again, as always. Thank you for joining in. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Serge. I am with Let's Talk. And Let's Talk. What is Let's Talk? Let's Talk is where we talk. You have your own perspective, your own opinions. I have my own. And instead of, boom, 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 fighting each other, let's just sit down and try to figure out whose perspective is, well, truthful, more aligning with the truth. Sure, we may not have exactly 100% to the point the truth. Only God is that. But whose perspective is closer to the truth that God himself is displaying to us. Today's topic, we'll continue to compare Jesus with the other guys. Jesus. We'll continue to compare what Jesus taught about himself to, let's say, what Muhammad taught about who Jesus is, to what Joseph Smith has taught who Jesus is, and to what Charles Russell has taught who Jesus is. Again, do you think everybody's in line? Or maybe Jesus is saying something that other guys might be twisting? Let's find out. But also, this is a live stream, open conversation live stream. I will be starting with Muhammad today. And then we'll move on to Joseph Smith. Then we'll move on to Charles Russell. And I will try my best to keep it as brief as I possibly can. At any point, if you think that I am wrong, maybe I'm twisting something, maybe there needs to be a correction, or maybe just let's add on to the point that he's making. You're welcome to put it. You're welcome to put your question or comment in the comments section. So you got a question or a claim, put it in the comments. Or if you want to actually have an open conversation, I pinned a comment to the bottom of the comments section, whatever platform you're watching on. This is getting streamed at the moment on Kick and also on YouTube. So whichever platform you're watching on, I pinned a comment with a link. If you click on that link, it will take you to the website where we have a studio room. And then I'll be able to, whenever you're ready, just raise your hand, because pretty much what you are hearing right now on this live stream, same thing is being translated or transmission, whatever, streamed in our studio room as well. So whenever you're ready, so that I would know, just raise your hand and I will bring you up on stage. And then we'll be able to have a conversation. And let me just throw this out there too. Like the live stream. Like the live stream. Your simple click of a like button can actually bring somebody else to this live stream that you yourself may not even know. The algorithm, if you like the live stream, algorithm tends to introduce this live stream to other random people out there. So your simple like can actually, algorithm can bring somebody else to the stream, and oops, they may just hear the information about who God is, who Jesus Christ is, and literally be saved. They may just hear the true identity of Jesus. Just think about it. A Muslim was to randomly come to this live stream. Muslim who has never seen the channel, has never, his first time. You see, he has seen the title. He's like, what is this about? Lands on the stream. All because you clicked that like, and YouTube decided to show this live stream to that Muslim. He hears the information, and We both, you and me, you by clicking like, me by, doing what I'm doing. We both just planted a seed of gospel inside of that heart. Awesome, awesome. So let's use the technology that we have. Yes, for the kingdom of God. Yes, he is good. He's always, always good. So before we jump, and by the way, like, subscribe. Subscribe, why? Because, so we could hang out in the future again. I try to go live on Friday or Saturday, and then on Sunday and Monday, so that we could hang out more over the weekend and, talk about godly things, especially on the day of the Lord. Why not talk about who God is? So let's start the stream by prayer, because, I need prayer. I'm a student. Yo, I'm just like you. I'm literally a student. We're all learning. We're all trying to figure out what is the truth. And this is what LetsTalk is all about anyways. Try to figure out what is the truth. Because the truth, only the truth, and nothing but the truth saves. I want to get to heaven, don't you? Well, there we go. We cannot be deceived. You cannot be deceived. I cannot be deceived. If we are, well, we're not making to heaven. So what is the truth? We got Jesus, who taught one identity about himself. And he knows who he is. Then we have Muhammad, who taught another identity on who Jesus is. Then we have Joseph Smith, who decided to teach another identity on who Jesus is. A little closer to Jesus' identity, but still, let's add a little bit of that twist. And then we have Charles Russell, who taught another identity on who Jesus is. So even amongst those three major prophets, religion, the identity of Jesus is not the same, even amongst those three. So those three, there we go. Those three, they do not match what Jesus taught. They don't. And on top of it all, what this guy taught, what this guy taught, and what this guy taught, simply do not even in line with each other. It's not in line with each other. They're even fighting each other on who Jesus is. So if there's many truths and all of them lead to God, does this mean we have 4 Jesuses now? 4 different identities of Jesus? And then if another whatever prophet comes along and says 5th and 6th and 7th and 10th identity of Jesus, do we have 10 Jesuses out there? Or what's going on at this point? What's going on? Why is there so many Jesuses? He says this, he's like this, blah, 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 blah. Especially when that happens. Especially when this mess happens as we have it in 2026. The best thing to do is go back to the words of Jesus Christ and see what he says about himself. That's the best thing to do. Because I personally think, I'm convinced, actually, that he knows what he's talking about. He literally knows what he's talking about. Do other 3 dudes know what they're talking about? Well, to make it simple, to make it easy to understand, if it's in line with what Jesus taught about himself, then yes, I think they do know what they're talking about. But if it's contradicting or if it's changing on what Jesus taught about himself, then who knows more? Jesus about himself, or this dude that came along 600, 1800, or 1900 years after Jesus, claiming to know what? More about Jesus than Jesus himself? How is that even logical? How is that logical? Think about it. Look, let me show you a few things. Let me show you a few things so that you could see for yourself. Let's say Muhammad, right? I resort to this very often, and I'm gonna try to go through this very, very fast, so that whatever. Let's jump right into it. This is one of the simplest, clearest, and comparison between what Jesus taught about himself and what Muhammad taught about who Jesus is. John 3:16. Jesus says this. Jesus talks about himself. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish but have everlasting life. This is what Jesus talked about himself. He, in verse 18, he who believes in him is not condemned, but he who does not believe is condemned already, because he has not believed in the name of the only begotten Son of God. This is what Jesus teaches, okay? So if a person believes in the name of the only begotten Son of God, that person is not under condemnation. No. Me, I believe that Jesus Christ is the only begotten Son of God. I am not under condemnation. I do not have condemnation inside of me whatsoever. I'm freed from that. Why? Because I have a promise from the only begotten Son of God that whoever believes in him should not perish but have everlasting life. Because I have this promise, I don't have the condemnation. I know he's not going to condemn me. There's the promise. Condemnation is opposite of the promise. God cannot lie. Put things together. Simple. I'm not condemned. But if a person does not believe in the name of the only begotten Son of God, that person is already condemned. But he who does not believe is condemned already. So the baseline, the belief in what? Belief in who? Name, look, the name of the only begotten Son of God. I forgot to bring down my Quran here. Sorry for this. Now look what Muhammad is saying. I'm just gonna fly through this real quick. I do show you guys this often, but I wanna show all three guys, all three, and show you how what Jesus taught about himself is different versus what those guys are teaching about who Jesus is. Let's see what Quran says in 1988. So remember, anyone who believes in the name of the only begotten Son of God, according to Jesus, what we just read, is not condemned. Okay? But if anyone does not believe, is condemned already. Remember, only begotten Son of God. Son of God. Anyone who believes Son of God. Let's see what the Quran says. Let's see what Muhammad is saying about God having a son. They say the All-Merciful Allah has got a son. That's 1989. Indeed, you have come up with such an abominable statement. Okay? So saying that God has a son is an abominable statement according to Quran. That the heavens are well nigh to explode at it and the earth to burst apart and the mountains to fall down crumbling. Like, it's a terrible thing. To believe that God has a son in Islam is a terrible, terrible, atrocious thing. Like, Do not even dare to do this. Huh. So what does this mean? This means, according to what Jesus taught, if one does not believe that Jesus is the only begotten Son of God, that person is condemned already. Quran, the teachings of Muhammad forbids the belief in Jesus as the Son of God. If you do that according to Quran, you're doing an atrocious thing. Sahih International, you have done an atrocious thing. Tiyutsami is such an abominable statement. It's bad, okay? It's like, kaboom, bad. As bad as it gets. It's the worst thing you can possibly do according to Islam. The worst thing. According to Christianity, according to Jesus, it's the thing that saves you. It's the best thing you can do is to believe in the name of the only begotten Son of God. But according to Muhammad, it's the worst thing you can do. Because believing in Jesus as the Son of God literally drives Muhammad's Allah crazy. Like he look what he's doing, that the heavens are well nigh to explode at it. And the earth to burst apart, and the mountains to fall down crumbling. Look, he's going a little crazy, okay? Why is he so pissed? What's going on with him? What hurt him so much? For they have ascribed a son to the all-merciful Allah. So ascribing a son to Muhammad's Allah in Islam is like, it's a no-no, okay? It's a no-no. It's a no-no. You're going to hell if you do it. Let me put it like this. According to Jesus, you're going to heaven. According to Islam, you're going to hell. Now, identity of Jesus. According to Jesus, he is the only begotten Son of God. According to Muhammad, he is not the Son of God. No, he is not the Son of God. That's what according to Muhammad, because Muhammad's Allah has no sons. Because he has no sons. And ascribing a son to Muhammad's Allah is an atrocious thing. So thus Jesus is not a son. Who knows more about who Jesus is? Jesus or Muhammad? So what do you think? Who has got it right? More correct? Jesus or Muhammad? What do you think? Who is telling the truth about who Jesus is? Jesus Christ or Muhammad? I'll let that sink in. We did a quick comparison. We see that one of the two, either Jesus does not know who he is, and Muhammad needs to correct Jesus and let him know who he is, or Jesus does know who he is, and Muhammad simply does not know who Jesus is. What do you think is the most logical conclusion we can come to? Logical conclusion. Let's not use fantasy language. Let's use logic, okay? By the way, who knows more about me? You know, my favorite food, what time I go to sleep, my most like hobby. Who knows more about me? Me or you? I'll let that sink in as well. And if I were to tell you my favorite hobby, and let's say you were to tell me my favorite hobby, who would logically be correct? Me about my favorite hobby, or you about my favorite hobby? Who would logically be more correct? Who would logically saying, who would be saying the truth? You about what I like, or me about what I like? Just think about it, okay? This is the same thing. Jesus is telling us who he is versus another dude who's trying to tell us who Jesus is. Logically speaking, who's more correct? I'll let you dwell on that. It shouldn't be that hard. It shouldn't be hard to, understand. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Let me show you. Let's move on to JW. We'll do Joseph Smith last. JW. I've done this on one of my latest streams, last few streams. I literally compared King James version, King James translation of the Bible, to JW. Wrong website. To JW organization, the Watchtower, New World Translation. And we have seen how new what is it? The Watchtower organization has been messing with the Bible. Literally has been messing with the Bible. So let's see how they messed with the Bible. Did they change who Jesus Christ is or not? Let's see. And I'll just use, again, I this is what I did last time as well, and I will do the same thing right now too. I will use the JW website to show you what they have done. It's mind-blowing too. Like when people are blind, people are literally blind. Like the truth is right in their face, and it's like they're literally blind as it gets. They are looking at the elephant and not even recognizing that they're seeing an elephant. It's as if they're fantasizing of some kind of a park when they're looking at an elephant or a playground. Yeah. That's JW. Let me show you. Okay, so let's go to their library. There's going to be Read Bible Online. Where's the Bible? Where's the Bible? Let me see here. I honestly speaking forgot where I went last time. The books. Oh, there we go. Bibles. Yeah, okay. So there we go. Okay, so this is the New World Translation of the Holy Scriptures. The JW organization has translated this in. Look, does this say here? This has been revised in 2013, as if something was wrong with the previous one. You know, false prophets always find something wrong. The true one, everything is correct, even 2,000 years later. That's just beside the point. So when did JW organization published NWT, so that we would all know and understand. Okay, so the release of New World Translation of the Christian Greek Scriptures. Okay, 1950. Okay, so the first complete one-volume edition was released, 1961. This is the first complete one. And then we see in 1984 there was a major revised edition was released. Revised. As if the first one is no good. They probably messed it up. And then 2013, a comprehensive modern language revision was released. Okay, well, at least they updated the language. I wonder if they updated their own teachings here too. Maybe they, got a few wrong in 1984, so they decided to kind of sneak in the updates in 2013, so it wouldn't be unnoticeable that they're actually changing something around. But it's interesting how these organizations, they tend to work. But anyways, let's see. Let's compare. Let's go into New World Translation. Okay. And let's see. There's going to be King James Version right here. I will compare New World Translations right here. And this is a King James. So we're focusing on identity of Jesus Christ. So one of the first ones we find. Okay, so let's see what John 1:1 says. John chapter 1, verse 1. Look. This is what disciple John says about who Jesus is. According to the King James translation. That was translated somewhere in 1500s. Okay? He says this. In the beginning was the Word. So before anything came to be, before anything, I'm talking about there's nothing. Nothing at all. Because nothing is created yet. So right there in the beginning, before anything came to be, there was the Word. So the Word, this Word, is everlasting. You cannot put time on the Word. The Word has no beginning. In the beginning of creation, the Word was already there. And the Word was with God. Okay? So this Word that was already there, it was with God. What are you saying? There's God and the Word? What is it? Some kind of two things in the beginning, before the beginning? It's two things that are everlasting? What's going on here? Well, let's make it more simple to understand. This word, the Word, this Word, okay? The Word, okay? This Word. It was God. It was literally God. So there's not multiple gods. There's only one God. And Word, the Word, is within that God. Is that God. Is that being, that existence. God. This is what King James translation says. Let's continue. The same was in the beginning with God. All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. Okay, let's jump now into the New World translation and see. Oh, by the way, this word, if you go down right here, verse 14. And the Word became flesh and dwelt amongst us, and we beheld his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. Okay, so this Word, it took on flesh. This Word is Jesus Christ. The Word of God is Jesus Christ, so that we all would know and understand. So we want to see if JWs are changing the identity. The JW organization is changing the movement that Charles Russell has started. His teachings and everything else is changing the identity of the Word of Jesus. Okay, so let's see here. So this is New World Translation. And probably, I'm not sure what year it is, but if I were to guess, since it's like this default one, it's probably the 13 version. Okay. Go to verse 18. Thanks. We'll jump into that next. Jesus was a good man, but not God. Yeah, we're actually looking into the identity of Jesus, and we're trying to figure out who is more correct about who Jesus is. Jesus or Muhammad or Joseph Smith or Charles Taze Russell. Who's more correct? Like, who knows me more? Who knows me more? Me? Do I know what I like? Let's say my hobbies, my favorite color, food, blah blah blah. So who knows more? Me about myself or you? Who knows me more? This is the same thing that we are looking into. Who knows Jesus more? Jesus or those are other three guys? Who knows Jesus more? So we're looking into what Jesus is teaching about who he is, and then we're looking into what the other guys are teaching about who Jesus is. So Jesus was a good man, but not God. Same thing with the Yuva Satish, okay? Bro, who knows more about who Jesus is? Yuva Satish or Jesus? Who? And if you simply follow one of the three guys but Jesus, then who knows more about who Jesus is? One of those three guys or Jesus? Just logic. But anyways, let's continue. And we'll jump to verse 18 soon. Let's see what New World Translation, how the New World Translation identifies who Jesus is. Let's see. Look, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. Okay, so pretty much the same so far, because, right here, look, in the beginning was the Word. Okay, in the beginning was the Word, the same thing. Then King James says, and the Word was with God. Okay, and the Word was with God. Man, it's like word for word. I mean, why translate, right? Just use King James. But anyways, they decided to produce a copy of their own. So let's continue in King James. And the Word was God. And the Word was God. Clear reference, clear understanding that, the Word, this God, same God, one and the same God. The Word was that God. Okay. And NWT says, and the Word was a God? Hold on a second, what? Look. The Word was a God. Oh, this is not the same as the King James. I mean, in King James, it makes clear understanding that the Word was with God, and the Word was that God. It's very easy and clear to understand in King James version. And guess what? The JWs approve of King James. They approve of King James. But, even though they approve of King James, they use their own translation because it's modern. It's so easy to read. It's mwah. But this mwah translation is already striking on who Jesus is. Dear people, this mwah, top of the line translation is changing identity of Jesus. So in this case, who knows more who Jesus is? John, the writer of the gospel, by claiming that Jesus is God, or the Charles Taze Russell movement and his organization, by claiming that Jesus is, I don't even know how to imagine this. Like, think about it. Like, in the beginning, there's nothing. Nothing is in the beginning, nothing. And there's a God. A God. What is a God? What is in the beginning a God? What does that even mean? If in the beginning is God, boom, very easy. Nothing hard, nothing illogical. But in the beginning, there was God, and then a God, some kind of a God. who in the world is this a God? What is he doing there in the beginning? What is it like? It doesn't make sense. It literally does not make sense. What is this a God thingy? But I'll let you to judge if if it makes sense or it doesn't make sense. But we can see that this NWT, the JW Watchtower translation, is literally striking at the identity of Jesus. Muhammad striked at the identity of Jesus. Now, Russell, the Charles Russell movement and his teachings striking also at the identity of Jesus. Who knows more who Jesus is? In this case, John, the writer of the gospel, who was a direct eyewitness of Jesus, or Charles Taze Russell, who came nearly 1900 years after Jesus. Who would know more? A direct companion of Jesus, or this weirdo with the loud mouth, I know Jesus, oh, listen to this new identity of Jesus. Who would know more, logically speaking? Yeah? Let's move on. Oh, verse 18. Let's see what verse 18. Let's compare verse 18. Okay. So no man has seen God at any time. The only begotten Son. Oh, the only begotten Son has seen God. That's awesome. Which is in the bosom of the Father. He has declared him. Ooh. This only begotten Son is in the bosom of the Father. In the bosom of the Father. And then he comes forth from within the bosom of the Father. Wow. This begotten Son is awesome. Awesome. As divine as it gets. As divine as it gets. As one as it gets within, inside the bosom of the Father. Like, and he's inside. Like, my son at one point, but again, this is not apples to apples comparison. It's more just like a close logical comparison, but there's a lot more factors involved in this one. Like me, right? My son was in my bosom at one point, and then right now he is born and running on planet Earth. Is the same kind as me. He came from within me. I'm not comparing myself directly to God because there's a lot more factors involved in it, but just apply this example to God. But since Jesus, the Word was with God, within God, right from the beginning, what does that make the Word? Yeah, everlasting, eternal. Same existence. Same being, same existence as God. Yes, Guitar, I agree with you. He was claiming to be the Son of God, and his enemies would have loved him to claim that Jesus claimed him to be God. Yeah, there's a number of times, and I'm going over the Gospel of John every Monday at 7 o'clock. We go chapter by chapter. We take a chapter, just break it down. And chapter 6, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. Next one will be on Monday, in 2 days. We'll be looking in John chapter 11. And I can tell you for sure, in 11, every single chapter, you see where Jews want to kill Jesus Christ. You see this all over. So yeah, and the only reason why is because the Jews that picked up the stones, they heard Jesus apply divinity, apply the essence of God to himself. Because they heard that, they said blasphemy, they called blasphemy, picked up the stones and were ready to stone him. That is the only reason. And that is the only reason why the priests, right there, on that last phony trial, that is the only reason why the priests could pronounce Jesus guilty. Is because they asked him, are you the son of the blessed, Son of God? He said, yep, I am. And that I am, and the Son of Man will come on the clouds, actually got Jesus charged with blasphemy. And the punishment for blasphemy is murder. Simple as that. Okay, so next. Let's move on. Let's see what so John chapter 1 verse 18. No man has seen God at any time. The only begotten Son, which is in the bosom of the Father, he has declared him. Okay, so now let's see what the NWT translation says. No man has seen God at any time. Okay, this one says, no man has seen God at any time. Okay, so far the same. Next, the only begotten God. The only begotten God. Okay, the only begotten Son. Okay, whatever. I don't know why that needed to be changed, but okay. Who is at the Father's side? At the Father's side. Oh, that's a major change right here. It's major change. Which is in the bosom of the Father. So according to King James Version, the word was with God by being inside of God. Okay? But according to New King NWT, it looks like this word is at God's side. Now, if it's at God's side, it's separated from the essence of God. If it's separated from the essence of God, it's no longer divine. It's literally no longer divine. It cannot be divine at that point. It has to be an angel. It has to be a human. It has to be some other kind but God. See what I'm saying? So King James says the Word, the Son, is in the bosom of the Father. Is literally one with the Father. Inside is little as one as it gets, okay? As one as it gets. Same kind. Same essence. But the JW, the Watchtower organization, the movement that Charles Taze Russell has started, this prophet that kept on prophesying, and will come. Poems failed. Oh man, I made a mistake. Let me recount my calculations. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, dear people, I recounted a whole new date. Prophesying about this new date at the end, this coming plume. Nothing happens again. Man, come on. Oh, dear people, hold on a second. Give me a better month. Let me figure out what mistake I made here again, and then I'll let you know. Calculation goes forth in effect again. Prophesying. Oh, dear people, it wasn't that previous day that the end is coming. It's the next one. Yo, and this Charles Taze Russell, how many next second coming days has he given? Until 1914, where he said, okay, now nothing happened. The second coming hasn't happened. Let's just make it all invisible. It did happen. I'm correct. But it all happened invisibly, where no one can see and no one can tell but me. I know exactly what's going on invisibly. And it happened. But you can't. Because I want to be right and you're going to be wrong. Even though nothing happened. That's Charles Taze Russell. Real? Prophet? False? You judge. You think it's real? Got a question or claim? You can put it in the comments. Or if you want to talk, if you want to have a conversation, show me where Charles Taze Russell is actually a real prophet of God. Oh dear JWs, I would love to hear you out. Because so far, everything that I've looked in, he is as suspicious as it gets. He's as a snake as it gets. please convince me that he is not a snake. But in the process of convincing me, please let me know, why is there such a major change in the Bible? King James Version literally states that Jesus is God. The NWT version looks like God corrupted and changed the identity of Jesus. Verse 18. Who is at the Father's side, according to NWT? According to KJV, who is in the Father? You see, in the Father is one, equal, same, exactly the same. At the Father's side is separated from the Father. It's not the same. How can he be even begotten if he's created? That's an interesting one. How can he be begotten if he's created? Look. NWT. The only begotten God. The meaning of begotten is coming forth from within. The meaning of created is not coming forth from within. It's different. You cannot apply coming forth from within to the word created. You can't. You literally can't. It's illogical to do it. So this statement that we see, the only begotten God. Number one, who in the world is this lowercase g when there's nothing is there? And number two, Charles Taze Russell and y'all teachings. If the Father has created the Son, you need to update. Hey, the latest revision you've done is in 2013. It's 2026. The 2013, as time went by, people found some more errors in your translation. So you got to update here. You got to change the only created somehow. The first created, I guess. Updated to from the only begotten God to the first created God. That will make more sense according to your doctrine. Okay, just want to throw this out there. Anybody from the Watchtower who's watching or will be watching in the future, another error has been spotted. Highly recommended you change some words around, because at the moment your translation is becoming extremely illogical. Let's move on. Okay, so who's at the Father's side? Is the one who has explained him. See? Literally, identity of Jesus is changed again. The identity of Jesus is changed again. Let me show you one more. Let me just get the exact one. It's somewhere in... Let me show you two more. Let me show you two more. Go through them, I think, quicker than this one. Okay, so let's go to John chapter 8. And you will see that there's a lot of changes of Jesus' identity done by the Watchtower organization, especially in the Gospel of John. John is the one who's trying to literally nearly verbatim say that Jesus is God. JW do not like that. They do not like what John is trying to verbatimly say. So they have to update what John is verbatimly trying to say, to bring some weird confusion. Because again, like, I read the NWT translation, John 1:1. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was a God. Okay, so before anything came to be, we have God, and then we have some a God. Who in the world? What is that a God figure at all? It's not the same. It's not divine as God, but it's like some a god. Before anything came to be, there's a god and a god. However, that makes sense. But according to Charles Taze Russell and his movement, it somehow makes sense. And they're trying to say that there's only one God. Both God and a God have, according to John 1:1, look, the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was a God. So both God and a God, they both are uncreated, according to this verse. They both are in the beginning. They both are before creation has started to be. According to, the JW, there's God and a God. Before anything came to be, there's God and a God. This one was in the beginning with God. All things came into existence through him. So everything came into existence through this a God. So a God is the one who created everything. It wasn't the God. It was not the one and only true God. It's this a God. Man, literally, NWT is blaspheming against God. It's not God who created everything. It's this a God who created everything. And in the beginning, there was a God and God. Two gods. And this God, Jehovah, he's not the creator, but this a God, he is the creator. I think JW is blaspheming like crazy. But this is just my personal side note. We're still stuck on this one, right? When I get into it, I get into it. Okay, so now let's go to 858. 858. This is NWT. And then 858, this is the KJV. Okay, so KJV. Look what KJV says. Let's start with 57. Then said the Jews unto him, Thou art not yet 50 years old, and hast thou seen Abraham? Jesus said unto them, Verily, verily, I say unto you, before Abraham was, I am. Before Abraham was, I am. Weird statement, huh? What does this even mean? Before Abraham was, I am. What does this even mean? Before Abraham was, so he's applying a timeline to Abraham. Before Abraham was, there's a timeline. It indicates a timeline. Time. I am. I am does not, you cannot apply time to I am. I am is always now. So if it's always now defeats the concept of time. So before Abraham was in time, Jesus is there. Because he's the I am. He's the existent one. He is that one existence that created everything. Let me show you. So that I would have a reference. Okay, look. Same thing. Jesus said to them, Most assuredly I say to you, before Abraham was, I am. Okay? Now, where is this I am coming from? This I am is coming from Exodus chapter 3, verse 13 and 14. Then Moses said to God, Indeed, when I come to the children of Israel and say to them, The God of your fathers has sent me to you, and they say to me, What is his name? What shall I say to them? And God said to Moses, I am who I am. And he said, thus shall you say to the children of Israel, I am, the name of God, I am, has sent me to you. And Jesus is using this, I am, in John 8:58. And look what John 8:59 says. Let's jump back here. So look what John 8:59 says. Then they took up stones to cast at him. But Jesus hid himself and went out of the temple, going through the midst of them, and so passed by. So according to the Jews, this before Abraham was, I am, the I am statement, the implication of I am. Jews actually heard that Jesus is using the name of God and applying that name of God to himself. That's why they called blasphemy on Jesus and were ready to stone him. This is all according to King James translation. Let's see if we're gonna get the same understanding in NWT translation. Let's start with 57. Then the Jews said to him, you are not yet 50 years old, and still you have seen Abraham? Jesus said to them, most truly I say to you, before Abraham came into existence, I have been. Oh, so Jesus is not applying the name of God to himself. He's not applying the name of God to himself in NWT. He's not. But in KJV, he is. KJV came out in 1600s, 1600s. NWT came out in 1900s. NWT looks like trying to change the identity of who Jesus is. They're trying to remove the fact that Jesus is applying the name of God to himself. They don't like how that sounds. Why? Because that makes Jesus God. Well, hey, just want to throw this out there. If you want to have a conversation, you can click on the link. It will take you to the website that we have a studio room at. And then whenever you're ready, just raise your hand. It's going to give me an indication that you're ready to talk. Then I'll be able to bring you to the stage. And the raise hand button is on the bottom of the screen. It's on the bottom of the screen. So whenever you're ready, just raise your hand and I'll bring you to the stage. But for now, let's continue to, I want to show you one more passage on where, the Charles Taze Russell and his minions are literally changing the identity of Jesus. And the question is this: who knows who Jesus is more? Jesus Christ himself or this Charles Taze Russell? Who knows who Jesus is more? Who knows who I am more? Me or you? What is the logic behind here? Okay, well, before I will show the next passage, let me see. We have a raised hand here, so let me bring a guest to the stage. Give me a moment here. Bro, I cannot pronounce your name, honestly speaking. I cannot pronounce your name. But let me just bring you to the stage. Give me a moment. How are you doing? Can you hear me? It shows on my end that you haven't selected the microphone yet. So I just sent you a request for you to select the microphone because it shows on my end that you haven't selected the microphone. I cannot hear you too. There we go. Okay. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Give me a moment. You were just there.
Hello.
Okay, there. We can hear you now. How are you? How are you doing? What is your name and where are you from?
I'm your friend Mo. We always speak. So I just changed my name into Arabic.
Oh, okay. That's. I mean, I obviously I could read that. How are you doing? How's
Yeah.
everything?
I'm really fine. How about you, man?
Yeah, I'm fine too. I'm fine too. Doing my own thing, just comparing the different scriptures, seeing who has made some errors, who's keeping it the truth.
Yeah, that's the way to go, man. That's the way to go.
That's what we're doing. And I've skimmed through what Muhammad said about who Jesus is and what Jesus said about who Jesus is. And we've seen that it looks like Jesus knows probably more about himself than Muhammad knows. And now we are looking through what Charles Taze Russell and his organization is saying about who Jesus is compared to who Jesus is according to Jesus. And it looks like Jesus knows more about himself than Charles Taze Russell too.
Yeah, I mean, I think the fact that we or the Christians get their perception of Jesus through the councils and through the early church fathers and through Paul and these other figures, we would raise the question whether that's what Jesus really was or not. Because when I, as a Muslim, read the Synoptic Gospels and see that Jesus never explicitly said that I'm God, so he had no actual reason to not say that I am God if he is God, then we see Paul, who's supposedly to be one of his apostles or to see him in a dream or something like that, going against what Jesus taught, going against him saying, obey what the law of the Jews says, to not eat food killed for idols, to not put idols on your houses and stuff like that, to do circumcision. And he comes up with these abstract notions of what circumcision of the spirit is and what that Gentiles do not have to abide by the law. I'd see that this is actually going against what Jesus really was and going against what Jesus really taught. So for me as a Muslim, seeing him that he calls to pray and to submit to one actual one person, one God, one person, one essence, and that he is the sent person from God, the Messiah, the sent messenger of God, that aligns with what Muslims think about Jesus. So I think we are closer to what Jesus is than actual Pauline doctrine and Pauline interpretation. I
Okay,
don't know about this guy though that
okay.
you're
So
skimming through right now. Yeah.
you think that Muhammad knows more about who Jesus is than Jesus himself?
No, not than Jesus himself, but than the people who say that they know about Jesus, or than the people who say that they are the disciples or the apostles of Jesus.
Oh, so you think Muhammad, the one who comes 600 years later, knows more about who Jesus is than the companions of Jesus?
No, not the companions, more than people like Paul and the early church fathers like Eusebius and Tertullian and the others. Yeah, he knows more about him. So the fact that he comes 600 years later doesn't change the fact that if he is really sent by God, yeah, he'd know more because God would tell him what the truth is. It makes sense.
Okay, well, what doesn't make sense to me is Matthew, he was a companion of Jesus, right?
Yeah, if we assume that the book of Matthew is written by Matthew, then yeah, okay.
Well, same thing. If I were to assume that the book of Quran is written or recited by Muhammad, then okay.
No, we have actual evidence that it was recited by Muhammad,
Uh,
but we
uh,
don't have evidence that these books are written by the actual disciples of Jesus.
oh, the Christians have more evidence that our information is truthful and accurate. Even more evidence than versus what Islam has. It's we have
No,
more.
no. If you take it from actual scriptural or textual or inspections, even non-Muslims agree that the way that hadiths are transmitted and the way that the Quran was transmitted is historically more preserved than the Bible. I don't say that. I'm not saying that the book of Matthew, for example, wouldn't be written by Matthew. The possibility of it being written by Matthew is reasonably high. Yeah, I agree. But the preservation of the transmission through the hadith or the narrations of the hadith system, where the way that we value what hadith is sahih, is to be true, and what hadith is not true, that system doesn't exist within any other scriptural transmit. So
Well,
I'd say
I
Islam
mean,
preserved more.
sure, bro. You guys have a great man-made preservation system. It's awesome. It's awesome. We have a God-made preservation system. Do you know what the difference between God-made and man-made is?
Yeah, of course I know. But you're assuming that your books are preserved by God, but you don't have the evidence. That's the issue. You'd have
Would you?
to prove to me that
God has
what
proven to everybody. Yeah, we already have that proof.
did, did God prove to you that what Paul wrote and what Paul said is actually divinely inspired? Aside from the fact that Paul himself said that he saw Jesus and whatnot.
I mean, to me, it's enough that I know that the Gospel of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John hasn't been altered, and they're the same.
Yeah, I can grant you that for the sake of the argument. Yeah, we can argue that at least the Synoptic Gospels are the closest thing to what Jesus taught. I'd
But
agree.
okay, is the
But
closest. But
even then,
is it what Muhammad taught? The Synoptics match with what Muhammad taught, or who knows
yeah,
more,
I'd
the
say that
Matthew or Muhammad?
if we say that we have what actually Matthew said, I'd say, yeah, Matthew lived with Jesus Christ
We
and he
do.
saw him and
I'm
he,
telling you, we do.
yeah,
We have God
yeah,
proof
I
that
say, yeah, yeah,
Matthew is real. Matthew, the Gospel of Matthew hasn't been altered. And you know what this God proof is? We have something that
what's this?
Islam does not have.
Yeah,
So
what's
think
that?
about this. Think about this.
Mhm.
Back when all the scriptures, back in the days of Jesus, early after Jesus, all the scriptures, they started to pop out. Okay, and the Islamic claim then, and many other claims are, well, man and the church fathers have altered all those scriptures, everything that Matthew said, John said, Mark said, and Paul came in and he had altered all these things, and he altered the teachings and identity of Jesus. He had altered all of this. That's the claim.
Mhm.
Now, is this claim
Okay.
true or not true? Then, 1900 years after, all of the sudden, God allowed us to discover Dead Sea Scrolls.
Okay.
And we take a look at Dead Sea Scrolls and we go like, hold on a second, they literally match what we have on hand. What does this
Okay.
mean? This means that the claim that Paul has altered the teachings is simply false. Because if Paul would have altered the teachings, then Dead Sea Scrolls would be opposite than versus what we would have on hand. What we would have on hand are the teachings of Paul, and Dead Sea Scrolls would reveal to all of us that our teachings are inaccurate. They're not truthful. So see, we have God-level proof. 1900 years after, pops up a system that says, yes, guys, your Bible is not corrupt. And all the claims that you hear out there of corruption, let me just confirm that it's not by showing you that it's not through these scrolls. What do you think on that God-level proof?
That's a great point, but I'm gonna have to ask you, what do this Dead Scroll, what do the Dead Sea Scrolls, what do they have inside them? What books exactly? And
Well,
what language?
the Gospel of Matthew. So if the Gospel of Matthew
So
is in there,
okay,
then let's take a
yeah.
look at what the
Well,
Gospel
only
of Matthew says.
yeah. We have only the Gospel of Matthew from the New Testament. Is that what you're saying?
There's more, but I'm saying the Gospel of Matthew is there, and since the Gospel of Matthew is
Yeah,
there,
what?
then the Gospel of Matthew that I'm about to read to you is not corrupted.
Yeah, if I'm gonna grant you for the sake of the argument that the book of Matthew is not corrupted, okay? Let's grant that for the sake of the argument.
Why,
Does
for the
that
sake of the
mean
argument?
that because I don't believe that it's actually what Jesus said exactly? It's commentary of Matthew himself. So Matthew is saying that Jesus did this, Jesus said this, Jesus said that. We don't have any actual proof that it actually is what Jesus said, okay?
Great,
Other
bro.
from the fact
And
that
where is that hard proof evidence that you're looking for? Oh, that Muhammad knows what Jesus said. Where's that
yeah,
hardcore proof evidence? Where? That Muhammad knows
the
and
hardcore
more.
proof is that Muhammad proved that he is a prophet. So he has prophecies. He has the Quran, which is miraculous from someone who doesn't read and doesn't know anything, doesn't know how to write, to know all of these things and not have read the Bible or read the Torah or read anything else. The Jews wouldn't tell him these things because he's not a Jew. They wouldn't have any interest in telling him these things. So we can argue whether how he knew this or not, but the fact that he had prophecies, the fact that he could tell what battles were going in real time while not being in battles himself, he can give food to 300 people while having small amounts, like Jesus himself did, by the way, having small amounts of food. He has these many prophecies to prove that he's a prophet. If someone would prove that he can interact with God, the same God that Jesus worshiped, and that same God would tell this new prophet or this last prophet that Jesus is not actually a person within a trinity or whatnot, and that he isn't actually crucified. Why wouldn't we believe him? Because he proved that he is a prophet, so he knows God and he can act with God. The same way that Jesus did miracles to prove that he is the Messiah, Prophet Muhammad had prophecies to prove that he is a prophet. It's simple as that. But let's go back. I can agree with you that what Matthew teaches is.
Let's continue
Let
to
me just
compare.
land.
Let's okay, land.
I will go back. I'm landing the point of whether we have what Jesus taught or not. I'd agree that the Synoptic Gospels. Okay, I can agree that the Synoptic Gospels have the teachings of Christ. Can you prove to me that these teachings of Christ, the uncorrupted books, by the way, I'd even grant that they were not corrupted. Can you prove me that the church and the early church fathers did not make interpretations of what this Trinity is? Because we don't see even the word Trinity in the Gospels, by the way. We don't see anything that explicitly would say that Jesus is God, apart from interpreting things like, oh, he was the Word and he was with God and whatnot, and someone told him, my God, exclamation point in Greek to say that he is God. These small interpretations that wouldn't prove to any normal person, uh, or actually they would give a reason for anyone to say that I cannot see the Jesus is saying that I am God, so I wouldn't see them as wrong.
Okay. Well, the topic what we're discussing is not really about the Trinity. We can get into that some other time. But the topic what we're discussing is who's more authentic, who's more trustworthy, Matthew or Muhammad. Muhammad came 600 years after Matthew. Muhammad was not a companion of Jesus Christ. The only thing that you have, the only claim that you're making, is because Muhammad claimed to be prophet. Thus, I trust that what he said about Jesus is accurate. That is the only hard proof evidence that you have.
Would you say that Jesus didn't
Now,
know David
now hold on a
or the
second.
other prophets,
Hold
although
on.
he
I
okay
let you land. Let me land too now. Okay, so now
okay
this is your side. What I'm trying to say, what I'm saying is Matthew. Matthew is a person who was chosen by Jesus Christ to follow him. Matthew was a Roman tax collector. He knew Greek, he knew Hebrew, he knew Aramaic, he knew the languages of that region, of that time. So Matthew was educated as well. And Matthew was a person, if he's a Roman tax collector, he's extremely organized in his text, extremely organized. So Matthew is going to be extremely focused and detailed in his writings as well because of who Matthew is. Now, Matthew is a direct eyewitness of Jesus Christ. He followed Jesus Christ for at least 3.5 years, hearing the things that he taught and writing them down, and seeing the things that he did and also writing them down. And then Jesus Christ told to Matthew and other guys to whatever they heard from him to teach it to other people. Now, Matthew, he did deeply believe that Jesus Christ is literally divine, is God. He believed it with all of his heart. It looks like we lost our friend here. We lost our friend. We got disconnected. But anyways, Matthew, he desperately and deeply believed that Jesus Christ is God. He did. And when Jesus commanded Matthew to go and spread his teachings, now, do you think Matthew would go and start lying about who Jesus is? Trying to literally destroy his reputation and the teachings of Jesus? Matthew was one of the disciples, one of the apostles. He was one of the people that, the church was built on. He's literally one of the elders of the church. So y'all think that when Jesus arose from the dead, went to his Father, Matthew literally backstabbed Jesus and started to teach against him? Is that what I hear my friend said? And all of a sudden, Muhammad is more reliable than Matthew. Yeah, if Matthew turned against Jesus and started to backstab him, then sure, I agree with you. But the thing is, that's not the case. Matthew did not turn against Jesus and start backstabbing him. That's not the case, bro. It's literally not the case. Matthew brought the truth to the best of his knowledge and understanding. So did Muhammad. But they don't align. So who is the truth? Literally, who is the truth? Okay, so he got disconnected. If you're in the studio room, just raise your hand at the bottom of the screen. There's a raise hand. There's a hand button. Just click on that so that I would know that you're ready to talk. But my friend got disconnected here. Okay, so we have another raised hand. Mr. Ben, let me bring you up to the stage. Give me a moment here. Okay, Mr. Ben, can you hear me?
Yep.
How are you doing?
Clear. I'm doing good. Thank you.
Nice. Where are you from? Just out of curiosity.
Mexico.
Which country?
Mexico.
Nice.
Yep.
Well, I'm from United States. I'm from California. It's nice to meet you. I'm Serge. So, what do you have in mind? What do you think about the subject and the things we're talking about?
My problem is not with. I know in Islam they make these outrageous claims. Yeah, I only believe in the Torah. I don't believe in the Christian Bible. But also, it's like Joseph Smith making these claims about himself in the Book of Mormon, Muslims saying that Muhammad, you can find him in the Old Testament and in the New Testament too. And wait.
Okay, so you believe in the Torah only. You do not believe in, let's say, the Psalms. You don't believe in the history. You don't believe in the Gospels too. He disconnected too. He disconnected. It was nice. First guest that I had from Mexico. Thank you. Just wanted to throw this out there. Thank you for the conversations. Thank you for the interactions. Press like button to help the spread about the to spread the word about the live stream, and subscribe to the channel so that we can have future interactions and just try to discuss and understand what's what. So, and he disconnected. That sucks, but okay. Well, let's continue. Let's continue in this. If he's gonna come back, then I'll bring him back on. So if you got a question, or a claim, you can put it in the comments. Or if you want to talk, so click on the link inside of the pinned comments on top of the comment section. Or it could be on the bottom of the comment section. Depends on the platform you're watching, okay? At the moment, I'm streaming. I used to stream on Instagram. I don't want to do that anymore. Their platform is a little, I guess, hard to figure out. So we're streaming on Kick and YouTube, and we'll add one more platform in the near future too. Okay, so just to bring more interaction in. Okay, anyways, let me show you one more thing that the JWs have done. One more passage where they have changed who Jesus Christ is. Then we'll jump into Joseph Smith. Joseph Smith is an interesting one. He's literally to me he's the most interesting one. He's the most interesting one. Charles Russell is like the most business minded, like he's the most serious. He's the most like this serious prophet. He's serious. Joseph Smith is like a child. Just all over the place. It's literally like all over the place type of child. And Muhammad, I think he's probably the most confused person ever in history. That's what I see about him. Oh, hey, thanks for a great comments, bro. Yes, the heat makes sense. How? I have no clue, but somehow the heat makes sense. And the heat says, I'm a snake and an idol worshipper. When I promote the teachings of Jesus, I become a snake and an idol worshipper. Why? Because the heat makes sense. That's why. Okay. Oh, you don't want to be on camera? No, you don't have to be on camera. You don't need to enable your camera. You just need to enable. Once it's gonna ask you for a permission of your camera. Once it's gonna ask you for a permission of your camera, just say no camera. Drop down. In the drop down there should be no camera. So just select no camera. And the next thing you will be asked is for a permission to access your audio or the microphone. So obviously you need to give the permission to access your microphone, and then we'll be able to talk. But I don't care if there's a camera or not. And also, even if without a camera, let me see here. Let me just let me try to do something real quick. Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can add where there's not going to be a camera. Even if you're to enable the camera, it's not gonna show. Let's see here. Okay, a moment. Okay, so we can talk in this scene as well. We can talk in this scene where there is no camera displayed on the screen at all. Let me just apply the same setting to the mobile side. There. Okay. So no camera. No. So there's an option, camera or no camera. If there's not gonna be, if I will not see your video on the Hmm. Another. Yeah. Sometimes I forgot what I want to say. These things happen too. Human being, right? On the back room, on the studio room. There we go. Studio room. That's the word I was looking for. If I don't see a camera, I'll just keep you on this screen where there's no camera applied at all. But at least we would hear the sound. We would hear the sound. Okay, so let's continue. Let's continue. But yeah, I get, apparently, because I'm promoting the teachings of Jesus, I'm a snake and an idol worshiper. Somebody, this Tahid makes sense, really does not like the teachings of Jesus. Anyone who promotes the teachings of Jesus is a snake and an idol worshiper. If anyone wants to go live, you can. If anyone wants to go live, you can click on the link inside of the pinned comments on top or the bottom of the comments section. But you'll see it says "Let's Talk," and then there's a link. So just click on the link, and it'll take you to the website where we have the studio room is at. Okay, so let's jump into another comparison. Okay. Over here, so let's take a look at last comparison between the JW and what JWs have done. Okay, have they intentionally corrupted the Bible, the scriptures, and attacked the identity of Jesus Christ? Let's now jump into on JW own website. Let's see, we're on jw.org. So JJW organization that was started by Charles Taze Russell accepts King James Version translation of the Bible. They accept it. But they promote their own version, their own translation of the Bible, which is New World Translation. And we're comparing the two translations together. How King James Version is portraying Jesus Christ. What identity does King James Version assign to Jesus, and what identity NWT assign to Jesus? Okay, so look what the John chapter 10 says. 10 verse 33. Start with verse 30, okay? So I and my Father are one. This is, again, we're reading KJV. I and my Father are one. Okay, well, as a result of Jesus saying this, look what happens. Then the Jews took up stones again to stone him. It looks like they found this statement as Jesus is claiming equality with God. So they picked up the stones and were ready to kill him. 32. Jesus answered them, "Many good works I have shown you from my Father. For which of those works do you stone me?" The Jews answered him, saying, "For a good work we do not stone thee not, but for blasphemy." Okay, they're stoning him for blasphemy. Blasphemy, according to the Old Testament, is when a person says that he is God, he's divine. That's blasphemy. A human being, fully human being, of a human kind, is saying that he's God. That's blasphemy. Blasphemy is punishable by stoning to death. Okay? So, Jews are not ready to stone Jesus for a good work, but they are ready to stone him for blasphemy. And because thou being a man makes thyself God. Do you see the blasphemy? The Jews are saying to Jesus, You're a man, but you're telling us that you're God. You deserve to die. That's what we literally find in King James Version. Okay. Now let's go to the preferred by the JW organization version. Let's see if we're gonna have, if we'll find the same idea, same reference, same application of identity to Jesus, or a completely different one. Okay, so John chapter 10. Start with verse 30. Okay, right here. I and the Father are one. Okay, so far so good. So far it's the same. And I'm not looking word for word. No, I'm looking that the meaning of the text does not get changed. That's what I'm after, is the meaning. If the meaning gets changed, then that means the identity gets changed. But if they're using a similar text to describe the same meaning, the identity does not get changed. What in this live stream we're trying to figure out, who knows about Jesus Christ more? Jesus Christ himself? Or Muhammad, Joseph Smith, or Charles Taze Russell? We've looked into Muhammad. We saw how the identity that Muhammad has given us about who Jesus is a completely opposite, like mind-blowing opposite, like night-day opposite of the identity that Jesus Christ taught about himself. We've seen it. So I was like, who knows more about who Jesus is, Muhammad or Jesus? But anyways, now we're looking into Charles Russell, and we're trying to see who knows more about the identity of Jesus, Charles Taze Russell or Jesus. So that's what we're doing. So I and my Father are one. Once again, the Jews picked up the stones to stone him. Okay. So far, so good. The meaning has been changed. It looks like we find the same pattern here, where the Jews are picking up the stones because they also hear blasphemy. If the Jews would not hear blasphemy, they would not pick up the stones. But because they're picking up the stones, that means they hear blasphemy. So far, so good. They're hearing blasphemy. Blasphemy is when a person is applying divinity to himself. Is when a person's claiming to be God. That's blasphemy, according to the Jews. So now, if they're picking up the stones, they are hearing that a person is claiming to be God. Okay, so far, so good. No meaning has been changed. Jesus replied to them, I displayed to you many fine works from the Father. For which of those works are you stoning me? Okay, so far, so in this one, in 32, we have a few words that got changed, but the meaning hasn't been changed. In King James, it says this, Jesus answered them, many good works I have shown you from my Father. For which of those works do you stone me? So pretty much Jesus replied to them, I displayed to you many fine works from the Father. For which of those works are you stoning me? So some words got changed, but the meaning is exactly the same thing. Okay, let's move on. 33, verse 33. The Jews answered him, we are stoning you not for a fine work, but for blasphemy. Okay, so far it's exact. The meaning has not been changed. The reason why Jews picked up the stones to throw at Jesus is simply because they heard Jesus claim to be God. See? They even are telling us why they have stones in their hands. They're telling us. Because they're hearing blasphemy. For you, although being a man, make yourself, what? A God? Okay. These JWs are super confused now. Like literally super confused. You're making yourself a God? Bro, making yourself a God is not blasphemy. Like, What's going on? JWs are literally attacking the identity of Jesus Christ. JWs, started by Charles Taze Russell, are attacking the identity of Jesus Christ to the point of confusing themselves and their followers. Like, if I were to make myself a god, dear JWs, that's not blasphemy. I'm not applying divinity to myself. That's not blasphemy. Blasphemy is when a person is applying divinity to himself. That's blasphemy. So y'all corrupted the Bible to such degree that y'all confused what blasphemy is. King James makes thyself God. That's blasphemy. Now we understand why the Jews have stones in their hands. Because Jews hear blasphemy, according to King James Version. According to NWT, make yourself a god. Like, okay, Jews, sure, whatever. Why do you have stones in your hand? Why do you have stones in your hand? Why are you telling to Jesus that he is committing blasphemy? Why? If he's aligning himself to a god and he's not claiming divinity here at all? Why are you doing this? Because JW decided to confuse us. That's what happens when one is to corrupt the uncorruptible Bible. All they do is they bring massive amount of confusion. Massive amount of confusion. So we can see that when we compared a little in the beginning of the live stream, when we compared Muhammad knowing Jesus, or Muhammad telling us who Jesus is, Jesus' identity, it did not match to what Jesus said who he was, his identity is. Didn't match. Now we look at Charles Russell and his movement, his foundation, and all his structures. How they identify who Jesus is. According to what we've seen, they identify Jesus as a God. There's like, who in the world is this a God figure? Who in the world is that? How am I supposed to understand this? A God. Like, what? I mean, this a God can be applicable to many sides of life. And according to the Old Testament, a God figure is the one to whom the Word of God came. A God figure is more of a prophet, according to Old Testament. And according to Jesus, more of a prophet. So it looks like JWs are changing identity of Jesus that we find in KJV, and what we find is divinity, to nothing more than a prophet, a God. Okay, so the act of blasphemy, right here. So blasphemy means the act of or offense of speaking sacrilegiously about God or sacred things, profane talk. But Jesus was claiming to be God. That's blasphemy. Claiming to be God is as blasphemy as it gets. The person is removing the one and only true God and putting himself in their place. You don't think that this offends God? When somebody says that, that the one and only creator God I know him to be as a Santa Claus, do you think that doesn't offend God? Or somebody says, yes, this one and only true God that created the heavens and the earth is known to be as Muhammad's Allah. Do you think that doesn't offend God? It's literally as offensive to God as it gets. Like, think about this. I have whatever I have. Let's say I have a property, I have a wife, I have family, children. Okay? And I have friends. And all of a sudden, randomly, another person, another man comes along, and he is claiming to be me. He's trying to take over my life. He's trying to take over my property, over my family, over my children, over everything that I have and I own. If all of a sudden this another person that just came along was to be identified as God and would be was to be identified as me and was to be recognized by the public as me, guess what happens to me? I lose everything and he gains everything. Don't you think that literally as offensive as it gets? It's literally as a threat as it gets. So you can see, when somebody is claiming somebody else's identity, it's actually criminal. Not just offensive, but it's criminal. Well, let's see here. Okay, so what I'm saying, claiming to be God is blasphemy, but you can say something bad about God, and that's blasphemy. But I agree with you. Yeah, I mean, cursing God is blasphemy. I agree with that fact too. But I'm more on the specific side that claiming to be that identity. Okay. Okay, so now let's let me show you. Let me show you another Bible translation. Let's jump into Joseph Smith right now. Let's see what Joseph Smith has to say. This is getting interesting. It's awesome. It's interesting comparing what different people say. So let's jump into. I guess we had enough of JWs, but we'll keep their tabs open for now. Joseph Smith. Okay, so that they all would see and understand that I'm trying to do it as valid as I possibly can. I'm not sneaking in some kind of a scripture. Y'all could see whenever I read from the Quran, I was on Quran.com. Okay? Getting official, authentic, non-corrupt words from Quran. Whenever I was comparing the JWs, I was literally on jw.org website reading the King James version that they authorize and accept, and the NWT version that they authorize, accept, and promote. They demote the King James because they have this understanding that King James is old, it's very hard to read, and if we'll read King James, we will not understand what Jehovah trying to tell us. So that's why we need to stick with NWT and read the corrupted version of the Bible. That's basically what they say. But now let's move on to Joseph Smith. And with Joseph Smith, you can see that I am at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints website. Okay. Okay, dear people, this right here, what you see on the screen, this right here, what you see on the screen, is Bible. It's also the Bible, okay? But it's the Bible that has been translated, updated, or revised by the acclaimed prophet Joseph Smith. Joseph Smith liked to, it looks like he liked to talk a lot, same as Muhammad. Charles Russell, he talked a little less, but Joseph Smith and Muhammad, them too, it looks like they like to talk a lot. Why? Because Joseph Smith has the Book of Mormon that he, published. It's a great fantasy book. It's a really great, really great mythological book. It's really awesome. It's fun to read. Like when you read about Superman, in the end, Superman saves the day. Yeah, the Mormon, is a great mythological figure. And then the Doctrine of Covenants. Joseph Smith published that one as well, and he did not stop there. He didn't stop there. He also decided to create a Bible of his own. And it's called Joseph Smith Translation. JST. Joseph Smith Translation. You can see it on my screen. Right here, see? It says Joseph Smith Translation. And this Joseph Smith Translation Bible, look how many books it has. Man, bro, Joseph Smith, he really likes to write fantasy stuff. So many books. So many books. Okay, let's just go to the book that come on, where's it at? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, 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 G. We're going to G. So E, N, F, G. Oh, there we go, G. So many books. You probably will not be able to read through the Joseph Smith fantasy Bible in your lifetime. There's so many books. But anyways, that's not the point. Let's go to Genesis. Genesis. I apologize because I forgot how to maneuver through this website. Let me try to figure this out. Give me just a moment more. I hope I can show you this. But let me see if I can figure out how to maneuver through this website in order to get to the place that I'm trying to get to. Oh, how did I do that? The breakdown. How did I do this? On the other screen. How in the world did I do? Okay, anyways, here's the. Just go to the link, directly to the link. Oh, there we go, see? I have the breakdown here. So how did I do it? I have no clue. But anyways. Okay, I looks like I'm not fully prepared for for this, because I cannot figure out how to maneuver this. I'm gonna have to get back to y'all on this, because see if I can figure this out real quick right now. Give me a moment here. Give me a moment. Yep, I guess I'm sorry. I failed on this one because I need to figure out how to maneuver this. I'm missing some information here. I think I'm not in the right place. I'm not. The version I selected is. I'm doing something wrong. That is all I can say. I'm doing something wrong. There we go. I think I found. Let me see if I can see if I can figure out how to share this with you. Let's see here. Okay, so they're right here. GST, it has more verses. Even though this ends in 26, there's more verses. Right here, see? And Joseph said unto his brethren, and this is the same thing. So starting from verse 20, we're looking more into expanded GST, expanded one. And Joseph said unto his brethren, I die and go unto my fathers, and I go down to my grave with joy. The God of my father Jacob be with you to deliver you from out of affliction in the days of your bondage. For the Lord has visited me, and I have obtained a promise of the Lord of that of the first fruits of my loins. The Lord will raise up a righteous branch out of my loins, and unto thee whom my father Jacob has named Israel, a prophet, not the Messiah who is called Shiloh. So an expanded version of Joseph Smith translation. It hints that there's another prophet, like a special prophet that's coming. Not the Messiah level, but the special prophet is coming. And it's an expanded version in the book of Genesis. Genesis chapter 50. And right at the bottom. And it shall come to pass that they shall be scattered again, and a branch shall be broken off, and shall be carried into a far country. A what? And a branch shall be broken off, and shall be carried into a far country. Now, we don't find this anywhere in the history. Like zero anywhere. We don't find this anywhere in the history. But Joseph Smith says that's what I guess Moses forgot to include in the book of Genesis. Moses forgot to include this. So Joseph Smith came to correct Moses. Hang on. Nevertheless, they shall be remembered in the covenants of the Lord when the Messiah cometh, for he shall be made manifest unto them in the latter days, in the spring of power, and shall bring them out of darkness into light, out of the hidden darkness, and out of the captivity unto freedom. Seer is a prophet. A seer shall the Lord my God raise up, who shall be a choice seer unto the fruits of my loins. I wonder if Joseph Smith is claiming that Moses is saying this, or not Moses. I mean Joseph. Joseph from the Bible, one of the descendants of Jacob. If it's Joseph that's saying this, or it's the Joseph Smith who's saying this. I wonder what the claim is. Like this is very interesting. Like a seer shall the Lord my God rise up, who shall be a choice seer unto the fruit of my loins. Like a fruit of my loins. I would imagine that Joseph, the Joseph of the Bible, the descendant of Jacob. Joseph is speaking. It's that one who's speaking. That's what I would imagine, according to this right here. But then, if it is that one, then that Joseph is saying that a seer, a prophet, shall the Lord his God raise up. And this prophet will be a choice prophet from his descendants. So what this means is Joseph Smith. Well, okay, let's see here. Let's see who this choice prophet is first. Let's continue to read. Thus says the Lord of my fathers unto me, a choice seer will I raise up out of the fruit of thy loins. Again, it looks like the Joseph of the Bible, the Joseph from the tribe of Jacob, with the descendants, the child of Jacob is saying this. That's what it looks like again. A choice seer will I raise up. So thus says the Lord God of my fathers to me, a choice seer I will raise up of the fruit of thy loins, and he shall be esteemed highly among the fruit of thy loins. And unto him will I give commandments, that he shall do a work for the fruit of my loins, his brethren. And he shall bring them to the knowledge of the covenants which I have made with thy fathers, and he shall do whatsoever work I shall command him. And I will make him great in my eyes, for he shall do my work, and he shall be great like unto him whom I have said I would raise up unto you, to deliver my people, O house of Israel, out of the land of Egypt. For a seer will I raise up to deliver my people out of the land of Egypt. And he shall be called Moses? And by this name he shall know that he is of thy house. For he shall be nursed by the king's daughter, and shall be called her son. Hey, dear Later Day Saints, if Moses from the Bible is saying this, Moses from the Bible, the descendant of Jacob, the Moses that became second in command after Pharaoh, That one. Later day saints, whomever is listening right now and will be listening in the future. If Joseph is saying this, I think, yo, bro, I think you guys got an error, like literally a mistake. A mistake is found in Joseph Smith, a translation of the Bible. A mistake is found. You want to update this mistake because it doesn't make look. It makes Joseph Smith look bad. Doesn't make him look good. This error. Look what you're all saying here. Right here, look. O house of Israel, out of the land of Egypt. For a seer I will raise up to deliver my people out of the land of Egypt. So there's a seer. So let me see. And I will make him great in my eyes. He shall do my work, and he shall be great like unto him, whom I said, I would rise up unto you to deliver my people, O house of Israel, out of the land of Israel. So there's a special seer that's coming. Okay. So this special seer that's coming, according to what we've been reading, is from the descendants of Joseph. So from either tribe of Manasseh or tribe of Ephraim, according to what we've been reading here. And all of a sudden, this special seer who's coming, he shall be called Moses. And he shall be nursed by king's daughter, and shall be called her son. Later day saints. Moses, the one who spoke to God on the mountain, the one who was nursed by the king's daughter, or he wasn't nursed by her, but whatever, and shall be called her son, the one who was called her son. That Moses is from the tribe of Levi. He's not from the descendants of Joseph. Just want to throw this out there. Y'all need to update this because you got a mistake here, okay? Moses is from the tribe of Levi. Levi and Joseph, they're bros. Okay? They're siblings. They're siblings. They have their own descendant lines. Just want to throw this out there. But let's continue. And again, a seer. So, and again, a seer I will rise up. So there's another seer that's coming. I will rise up out of the fruit of thy loins. Okay. So there's another one. So Moses is the first one that is from the fruit of, or from the line of Joseph, according to this right here, what we're reading. And it looks like another one is coming from the descendants of Joseph as well. And again, a seer will I rise up out of the fruits of thy loins, and unto him I will give power to bring forth my word unto the seed of thy loins. And not to the bringing forth of my word only, says the Lord, but to the convincing them of my word, which shall have already gone forth among them in the last days. Wherefore the fruit of thy loins shall write, and the fruit of the loins of Judah shall write, and that which shall be written of the fruit of thy loins, and also that which shall be written by the fruit of the loins of Judah shall grow together unto the confounding of false doctrine, and laying down of contentions, and establishing peace among the fruits of thy loins, and bring them to a knowledge of their fathers in the latter days, and also to the knowledge of my covenant, says the Lord. And out of the weakness shall he be made strong in that day when my work shall go forth from all my people, which shall restore them who are of the house of the Lord in the last days. Okay, let's pay attention to this verse a lot, okay? Because there's another seer that's coming. So the first seer that was a great seer, according to what we just read, is Moses. But the later day saints, they made a mistake. Moses does not belong to the tribe of Joseph. He belongs to the tribe of Levi. They made a mistake over there. But maybe they just didn't know. Well, they didn't know. They actually didn't know. Joseph Smith did not know. Why? He was illiterate. Joseph Smith was illiterate, so he was not able to read. So he actually did not know that Moses was from Levi. So that's why he made a mistake here. But I mean, he's saying that God is saying all this. So according to Joseph Smith, he's kind of passing on his ignorant knowledge or ignorance onto God, because he's saying God is saying all this. So as if God does not know. But whatever. Okay. Okay, so let's focus on verse 33. And the seer, and that seer will I bless. Okay, so God is promising to bless that seer, the second seer. And they that seek to destroy him shall be confounded. For this promise I give unto you. For I will remember you from generation to generation, and his name shall be called Joseph. Oh, the second seer that's coming, he's going to be called Joseph. And it shall be after the name of his father. So Joseph that's coming, the seer, the second great awesome seer of God that's coming after Moses. His name will be Joseph. And his father's name will be Joseph as well. Okay, let's see here. What is the name of Joseph Smith dad? Joseph Smith Sr. Oh. The father of Joseph Smith Jr., founder of Later Day Saint movement, was Joseph Smith. Oh. So it looks like Joseph Smith is talking about himself here. So this Joseph is Joseph Smith. He is that great, awesome, magnificent second prophet that is to come. And he is being promised in the book of Genesis. Funny how Joseph Smith has actually added himself in the book of Genesis and called it God's revelation. This revelation that Joseph Smith is coming was missing from the book of Genesis for like what? 5,000 years, maybe 4,000 years, was missing. And then Joseph Smith comes and he goes like, hey, I see some missing revelation in the book of Genesis. It's about me. It's about Genesis speaking me coming. Remember? Guys, do you remember how Genesis is proclaiming that I'm coming? Do you remember? Yeah, come on. So let's add it in there so that you would remember that Genesis is proclaiming that I'm coming. So verse 33, you see that Joseph Smith is trying to insert himself in the Bible. Who else has attempted to do that? Muhammad has attempted to do that. Look, let me show you. Where Muhammad attempted to add himself into the Bible too. Let me show you, where is it at? Do, 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 do. Okay, there we go. I don't remember all the passages from top of my head. Look, so 61, 6. 61 verse 6. Who else tried to claim that they're found in the Bible? Joseph Smith has. Why? Because he thought that it would actually legitimize, make his prophecy legit. So that's why he claimed. He had literally added himself in the book of Genesis. Good job, Joseph Smith. Okay, so now Quran. Remember when Isa, son of Maryam, said, ooh, Isa is saying, so Jesus is saying, Jesus of the Gospels is saying, O children of Israel, I am a messenger of Allah sent to you, confirming the Torah that is sent down before me, and giving you a good news of a messenger who will come after me. Oh, Jesus' good news, according to Quran, was that another one is coming. That somebody else is coming. That's Jesus' good news. That somebody else is coming. Who is that somebody else? Whose name will be Ahmed. Oh, the good news is Ahmed is coming. That's literally what Jesus has preached according to Quran. That Ahmed is coming. Everywhere Jesus was going, he was saying, Ahmed, 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 Ahmed is coming. Oh, he's still coming. Oh, yes, he's coming. Oh, yeah, he's coming. Here, he's coming. There, he's coming. Jesus, can you teach anything else? Oh, no. Ahmed is coming. Jesus, stop being a parrot. Ahmed is coming. Ahmed, 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 Ahmed is coming. Why am I a parrot? Because that is the good news. Ahmed is coming. According to Quran. According to Quran, Jesus was a parrot who was proclaiming a good news that Ahmed is coming. That is the only thing that he taught. Ahmed is coming. Oh, hold on a second. Who else? Who else inserted himself in the Bible? Who else inserted himself in God's word? Who else has inserted himself where he does not belong? Who? Joseph Smith has. We've seen it. But who else? Muhammad has inserted himself by saying Ahmed is coming. So it looks like Muhammad is trying to make his prophethood legit by making false claims, by lying to people. Like, dear Muhammad, that's literally counter to trying to legitimize yourself. If you're making false claims, you're not helping your case. You're hurting your case. Same thing, Joseph Smith. If you're making false claims that the Bible is talking about that you're coming, the Lord himself is talking about that you're coming. From the whole, yes, the Lord knew that you're coming. Sure, the Lord knew, but the Lord promised that you will be who you claimed to be. Because if I were to go through a description of Muhammad from the Quran, you'll see that this Ahmed, he's like the best human being that ever lived. He's top of the line. He's like the top of the line of the line. He's so top of the line that this Ahmed has his name written all over God's throne, all over Muhammad's Allah's throne. There's Ahmed. There's literally another parrot. Muhammad's Allah is another parrot. He really likes the word and the name Ahmed. Why? Because according to Muhammad's Allah, Ahmed is the good news. Ahmed. It's not that Jesus has died on a cross, or raised from the dead on the third day, nailed your sins to the cross and saved you. That's not the good news according to the Quran. According to the Quran, the good news that Jesus was preaching is that Ahmed is coming. So we can see that Joseph Smith and Ahmed both are inserting themselves where they do not even belong. Lying to people, trying to prove through their lies that they are a real prophets. Babamst. Okay, let's go back to. Okay, let's continue. Let's get some more description or definition of this Joseph. And the Lord sware unto Joseph that he would preserve his seed forever, saying, I will rise up Moses, and a rod shall be in his hand. Bro, no. Later day saints, Moses was from the tribe of Levi, not from the tribe of Moses. I mean, not from the tribe of Joseph. He was from the tribe of Levi. Like, later day saints, it looks like you don't even know the Bible. No, hold on a second. It's not the later day saints. Joseph Smith, prophet Joseph Smith, or claimed prophet Joseph Smith. It looks like you don't even know the Bible. Literally, you don't even know God's word. The first thing that you should have done is actually learn to read and write. Then pick up the Bible and start to read the Bible. And then you would get some knowledge of the word of God. And just maybe you would not be claiming some things that you're claiming here. But you're doing exactly the same thing as Muhammad is doing. Muhammad did not know how to read or write too. He had no clue. And guess what Muhammad has done? He said such things as everything that he's prophesying is confirmed in the gospel and confirmed in the Torah. And because Muhammad was illiterate and was not able to read the Torah or the gospel, he actually prophesied against, contradictory to the Torah and to the gospel. Lying to people that he's in line with the gospel and the Torah. But he simply could not read to find out if he's in line or not. Joseph Smith is literally the same thing. And both of them are visited by an angel. Some spiritual encounter that brought another false gospel. A rod shall be in his hand, and he shall gather together my people, and he shall lead them as a flock, and he shall smite the waters of the Red Sea with his rod, and he shall have judgment, and shall write the word of the Lord, and he shall not speak many words. For I will write unto him my law by my finger of my own hand, and I will make a spokesman of him, and his name shall be called Aaron. And it shall be done unto thee in the last days also, even as I have sworn. Therefore Joseph said unto his brethren, God will surely visit you, and bring you out of this land, and unto the land which he swore unto the Abraham, unto Isaac, and Jacob. Man, they added so much information that what God said. So much of what God said. Oh yeah, and in this so much what God said, obviously the false prophet has to say that, hey, look, God said I'm coming. So this is the expanded version of Genesis, of the book of Genesis, where we simply find the false teachings. Let me show you something else. Let me show you something else real quick. Okay, so let's see here. Let's see here. Let me see if I can get to. Let me see if I can. Doctrine and Covenant. Doctrine and Covenants. Okay, let's read this. Let's see what this says. It's just interesting. This will always also, so I'm sorry, this will also be the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, okay? Let's read Doctrine and Covenants, chapter 132. Verily, thus says the Lord unto you, my servant Joseph. That inasmuch as you have inquired of my hand to know and understand wherein I, the Lord, justified my servant Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and also Moses, David, and Solomon, my servants, as touching the principle and doctrine of their having many wives and concubines. Behold, I lo am the Lord thy God, and will answer thee as touching this matter. Therefore, prepare thy heart to receive and obey the instructions which I am about to give unto you. For all those who have this law revealed to them must obey the same. Behold, I revealed unto you a new and an everlasting covenant. What? What? Let's go to the Gospel of Matthew. Let's read what Jesus says. Chapter 26, verse 27. Then he took the cup and gave thanks and gave it to them, saying, Drink from it, all of you, for this is my blood of the new covenant, which is shed for many for the remission of sins. For this is my blood of the new covenant. So Jesus is actually establishing a new covenant. Okay? Joseph Smith, for behold, I have revealed unto you a new and everlasting covenant. Oh, so the covenant that Joseph Smith has gotten is newer covenant than Jesus has gotten. And the one that Joseph Smith has gotten is the final one, because it's the everlasting one. There's no newer covenant that's coming. No more. Joseph Smith's, according to Joseph Smith, is the last one. Man, Joseph Smith and Muhammad is like copy. They're literally copy. Both are the seals of the prophets. Both are saying that Jesus is the Messiah and then literally changing his identity. For behold, I have revealed unto you a new and everlasting covenant, and if ye abide not, if ye abide not that covenant, then are ye damned. For no one can reject this covenant and be permitted to enter into my glory. And this new covenant I think it's something about the many wives, I guess. This doctrine, this principle, and the doctrine of having many wives. Let's continue to read. Let's go to the next. Next. Jump into 19. 19. Okay, I don't want to read this whole chapter. Let's see if I can. See if I can just find exactly what I'm looking for here, because I don't want to read the whole chapter. You can read the, is it 19 and 20, and then 61 and 62. And you'll see the idea. I'm gonna do a little more writing down, because it looks like I'm not. Yeah, I was more prepared for the Muslim side and JW side. I didn't prepare enough for the Joseph Smith side. But Joseph Smith has a lot, so I guess I'm not fully prepared on his side, but I'm gonna prepare a little more thoroughly on his side so that I could show you exactly what he's saying. But basically the idea is this covenants, this doctrine and covenant of multiple wives. If anyone obeys this covenant, they will gain the highest glorification possible. That's what Joseph Smith has taught. And he started to teach this once he started to fall in love with other women than his wife. He started to change the word of God to suit his own needs. Like, hey, yes, Jesus said one wife, but I like this woman along with my current wife. So how can Joseph Smith have this woman along with his wife? How? Oh yeah, through a new covenant revelation. And such claims as, if you want to be exalted, you actually take her as your second wife. If you want to be exalted in everlasting glory, you take her as your second wife. Jesus says no. Joseph Smith said yes. But he was so into woman that he couldn't control himself. Guess what? This Joseph Smith fellow, he literally reminds me of Muhammad. Like nearly a copy of Muhammad. In so many aspects that I compare, he's literally nearly a copy of Muhammad. Just different location and different time. Okay, so let's see here. Let's see what we got. Let me see here. We got a warning in. Warning. CDR 2025. Warning. The afterlife has not been proven to exist. As such, all talk of afterlife is speculative. That's the warning that we've got. Well, the best thing that I can give you back is Jesus rose on the third day from the dead. Oh, how do you know this? Because of what his disciples have done. It's logically, reasonably to believe that Jesus' disciples saw the risen Lord and Savior, their risen Lord and Savior. They saw him. And they claimed that Jesus, the one who has power over life and death, will raise you from the dead if you believe him, just as he was risen from the dead. So Jesus proved that he has the power over life and death. Even though you don't believe that there's an afterlife, but Jesus proved that there is one. So you're just denying to believe in what the Messiah taught. That's it. Okay, so another one interesting. If God exists, then there is afterlife. If his words say so. Simple. If God exists. But now, in order to say that God does not exist, you're going to have to do some hardcore mental gymnastics. And if God exists, there is afterlife. If God does not exist, then sure, everything is hopeless. We're all done and doomed of nothing. But if God exists, he is able to raise people back to life. So guess what? It looks like there is more evidence that there is an afterlife compared to there's no afterlife. And I do agree with you, but this is not the only way to find out. So the only way to find out if God exists is to invite him and seek a relationship with him. I can confirm that if you ask Jesus to come into your life and give you the signs you need to see he is real, he will do it. I asked for signs and he gave them to me. He healed my addictions and mental health issues I had for 14 years. Yeah, Jesus is a miracle working God. But if we need signs in order to believe, that belief is not rooted in a strong foundation. It's not. Our belief has to be rooted in what God says. And the fact that God simply cannot lie. And it's literally as logical as it gets. Bible is not a book of illogical information, some fantasy stuff. No, it's literally as logical as it gets. It's very easy, common sense, plain to understand type of book. Okay, well, that's what I wanted to go over today. I'll do a similar live stream in the near future comparing the false prophets again. I'll dig in some more information from the Charles Russell. I'll dig in some more information from Muhammad, and I definitely will start next time my comparison with Joseph Smith. But for now, thank you so much for participating. Who participated, whomever called in, thank you. I appreciate you. And press the like button to spread the word about the live stream, and subscribe to our channel so that we could, yes, hang out in the future again. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for the conversations. And thank you everybody on YouTube, and thank you everybody on Kick. And y'all have a wonderful, wonderful day. I will be ending on this note. And until next time, God bless you.